in Benin. Now you can follow this news broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and on YouTube channel NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page NTA Network News, Twitter at NTA News Now, and Instagram NTA Network for updates. An ultra-modern 3 million metric tons per annum Bua cement factory has been inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari in Sokoto State. The president says the coming on stream of the multi-billion naira project clearly indicates that government effort at encouraging strong and sustainable economic growth is not detracted by insecurity issues. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the details.
The Bua Cement Factory, Sokoto, is one out of the 4 new plants of similar capacity that have been completed in different parts of the country in the last 5 years. 2 more plants are expected to be completed and put to use next year to bring the total production capacity of Bua Cement PLC to 17 million metric tons per annum. The world-class plants are strategically positioned to provide what the company described as value brand cement to the Nigerian and African market, contributing significantly to the built industry.
Bua will continue to invest more in the cement industry until Nigeria is self-sufficient and cement is made available, accessible and affordable for all Nigerians.
No dollar from our external reserve has been spent on imports of cement into the country in the last 7 years. Manufacturers in the manufacturing sector, please take urgent action in bringing down the price of building materials in Nigeria.
For President Muhammadu Buhari, the coming on stream of the new cement plants is a clear indication that his administration's policy of creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive as a key economic pillar is working.
Today, Bua and other entrepreneurs have made Nigeria self-sufficient in cement and a net exporter of this strategic product. Bua has shown without a shadow of a doubt that they believe in Nigeria and its potential.
While reaffirming federal government's commitment to bringing lasting peace to all parts of the country, the president reminds Nigerians that every region and indeed every state in Nigeria sits on huge reserves of resources like gold and precious stones in parts of the Northwest. The government, he said, will continue to introduce policies and mechanisms towards supporting the exploration and exploitation of the abundant resource potentials in a legal, ethical and inclusive manner for job creation as well as enhanced socio-economic well-being.
I want to now call on all entrepreneurs and businesses to emulate what is being done here. The task of nation building requires all hands to be on deck. The public and private sectors must collaborate if we are to achieve our aim of collective peace and prosperity across the entire nation.
I must especially commend the chairman of Bua Group, Alhaji Abdusamad Isaac Rabiu, for his patriotism and uncommon entrepreneurial spirit. He is a silent achiever, and we are inspired by his drive and total commitment to the advancement of the economy of Sokoto State and Nigeria.
Bua Cement PLC, which described its product as the king of strength, is currently the 2nd largest producer of cement in the country. From Sokoto, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And President Muhammadu Buhari has again directed the nation's armed forces and other security services to deal decisively and mercilessly with anyone or group undermining efforts at achieving sustainable peace, security and stability in the country. This was at the palace of the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, during a visit. Here again is Adamu Sambu with the details.
It was a befitting welcome for President Muhammadu Buhari on arrival at the Sokoto International Airport on his first visit to the seat of the Caliphate this year. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal was at the head of the welcoming party, which also includes the governors of Kebbi, Kano and Kwara states, as well as the Deputy Governor of Jigawa State. President Buhari is here to formally commiserate with the government and people of Sokoto over the recent loss of lives and property as a result of outrageous attacks by bandits and other criminal gangs. He told the people of Sokoto at the Sultan's Palace that he remains unrelenting in his resolve to put an end to the dastardly act in the state and any other part of the country.
Every day we are worried about what is happening in the Northwest. We are going to do our best, and the military and law enforcement agencies have been given a clear order that they shouldn't spare any bandit or any terrorist. Inshallah, we are going to hand over a secure country better than we inherited.
Both the governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, and Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for the show of sympathy, assuring him of continued support, understanding, cooperation, and prayers of their people as he sustained efforts at achieving a peaceful and sustainable future for the country.
Thank you for the concern you have always expressed publicly about the happenings not only in Northwest but all parts of the country. And I assure you will continue to cooperate and pray for you to succeed. So always count on us. As traditional leaders, we've been doing a lot and we'll continue to do what we can. Because when leaders succeed, we enjoy the benefits of their success. If they fail, we suffer the consequences of that failure.
During the event, special prayers were offered for the nation and its leaders. From Sokoto, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has described as painful his inability to visit Zamfara state as planned due to bad weather. This is contained in a video message to the government and people of the state shortly after the trip was put on hold. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president was scheduled to proceed to Gusau from Sokoto, but the inclement weather condition made it impossible for his helicopter to fly and therefore had to return to Abuja.
I understand how you feel about this development, but I know that you will agree with me that Allah knows best. I particularly sympathize with your governor, Bello Matole, and his cabinet, who have put everything in place to make the visit a successful one. I look forward to a more weather-friendly period when I will visit you. Security agencies are to sustain the onslaught against terrorists, restrict cross-border boundary infiltrations, and all unauthorized access to the gold mines in the state. The federal government and the Zamfara state government are working to ensure that peace returns to all parts of the state in the shortest possible time, and we expect all citizens to cooperate and support the armed forces and other security agencies.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has inaugurated the Health Sector Reform Committee set up by President Muhammadu Buhari and urged the members to brace for the task ahead. The Vice President, during the inauguration, echoed the President's vision that a modern and people-oriented healthcare is fundamental to the country's growth and development. State House correspondent Jide Unifade reports.
And even the loss of our trained personnel, and that is a frightening phenomenon even now.
Membership of the committee is drawn from the different arms of government, development partners, the traditional institution, and civil society organizations, among others. Emphasizing the importance of the committee's task, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who is leading the committee, observed that the current reality is that the Nigerian health sector still carries some critical challenges, which has resulted in suboptimal outcomes when compared with more developed jurisdictions of the world. A situation, he says, that makes the reform of the sector imperative.
It's perhaps also important to mention that a series of stakeholder consultations were carried out with relevant ministries, departments and agencies, health unions and key stakeholders in the sector. So the report of that comprehensive effort is probably what has brought us to where we are today. As mandated by Mr. President, the Health Sector Reform Committee is tasked with the crucial role of reviewing these reports and steering the direction of the needed reforms.
Acknowledging challenges in the health sector, Vice President Temi Osinbajo explained that government has the primary responsibility to address the issues and to put in place the structures and arrangements necessary to boost the efficiency of the healthcare ecosystem.
Personally keen to ensure that the coordinating office for the reform effort, which is domiciled in the office of the Vice President, will not just have the Ministry of Health. Of course, the Ministry of Health is the important partner, but also some of the important technical resource persons provided by our partners. And of course, the solid representation also from the committee.
At the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
To the legislature now, the House of Representatives has urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend the implementation of the recently introduced guidelines on imports and exports. The House believes immediate implementation may result in distortion of prices of goods and services, cause congestion at ports, and delay transactions. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on this and other features during today's plenary.
The appeal to the CBN was pertaining to a circular it issued on the 21st of January 2022 with new guidelines introducing electronic evaluator and invoicing for imports and exports in Nigeria. The House advised that a 90-day grace period be given before implementation of subsequent fiscal or monetary policy to enable adjustments and economic stability.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has gradually deviated from its primary function of monetary policy measures and bankers to government and concentrate more on fiscal policy measures, which is the function of the Federal Ministry of Finance.
In adopting prayers of the motion, the House invited the CBN governor to appear before the House Committee on Customs and Excise and brief it on how it intends to implement the guideline without it affecting the 3.1 trillion naira revenue target of the Nigeria Customs Service. Also invited by the House are the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry over an alleged memo to foreign missions directing them not to comply with provisions of Section 11 of the 2022 Appropriation Act. The issue was raised by Representative Asimu Megari.
The section of the 2022 Appropriation Act, which was carefully drafted by the legislature and assented by Mr. President, is now being challenged by some officials of government and unpatriotic individuals at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs headquarters.
The ministry wrote a letter to all the embassies that they should not honor the letters written by the National Assembly. They should hold on with implementing the law until they make further consultation with other agencies of government.
What does the Constitution say appropriated by the National Assembly? I believe the Constitution says that no money can be spent except in a manner as prescribed by the National Assembly. And this is the manner the National Assembly has prescribed that this money is being spent, and for good reason.
The motion from Representative Igariwe Iduma on the need for authorities to address the deteriorating state of security in Ebonyi State, which has led to the killing of innocent lives, was adopted.
Within this week, specifically 2 days ago, they said the Bubago militia group has been hunting to arrest and possibly harm a former member of this House, Right Honorable Linus Okorie, even when he did not commit any offense. He has been declared wanted and is hiding from one place to the other. So, Speaker, further aware that in the past few weeks, innocent Ebonyi citizens have been attacked and some killed in cold blood.
House members also supported the call on security agents to curb killings, kidnapping, and arson in parts of Gombe State. Meanwhile, the House has formalized its resolutions to investigate the cost of fixing the nation's refineries and a certain actual daily consumption of premium motor spirit in Nigeria, as one of the ad hoc committees held its inaugural meeting. The committees will engage labor unions, experts, operators, and other stakeholders in the sector. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
We'll take a short break now. Stay with us on NTA News.
Professor Marietu Ohunene Tenuche, on behalf of the Government Council, Senate, and Congregation of Prince Abubakar Aldo University, formerly Kogi State University, Anyimba, wishes to inform graduates and the general public that the 6th convocation ceremonies will hold on the 28th and 29th January 2022. Friday, 28th January, will be convocation ceremony for the award of first degrees at 10 a.m. at the University Stadium. Saturday, 29th January 2022, will be the commissioning of projects at 10 a.m., followed by the convocation ceremonies for the award of postgraduate diplomas, higher degrees, and conferment of honorary degrees at 11 a.m. at the University Auditorium. Graduates and the general public are to check the Daily Trust and the Nation of Tuesday, 18 January 2022, and the university website at www.ksu.edu.ng for details. Signed, Alhaji Nuhu Amadu Ahmed, Registrar and Secretary to the Council.
The Senate Committee on Trade and Investment invites all relevant stakeholders and the general public to a one-day public hearing on the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2011, Amendment SB.824, date 1st February 2022, venue Conference Room 231, second floor, Senate New Building, National Assembly Complex, Abuja, time 12 noon prompt. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, President of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan. Guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Richard Adeniyi Adebayo. Host, Chairman, Senate Committee on Trade and Investment, Distinguished Senator Seidu A. Alkali. Relevant stakeholders and the public are invited to submit 15 hard copies and a soft copy in flash drive of memoranda to the Secretariat, Suite 4.2, White House, National Assembly Complex, Abuja, or the Chairman's Office, Room 3.20, New Senate Building, before the public hearing date. Key stakeholders include, for more information, please contact the committee clerk on 0803-786-7023. Senator Seidu A. Alkali, Chairman, Announcer.
The reason we are gathered here today is to fulfill the first promise to invest $100 million to identify, train, mentor, and seed 30,000 entrepreneurs in 10 years.
I'm from Ghana,
Zimbabwe,
Nigeria, Sudan,
Rwanda,
Egypt.
Je viens du Gabon.
I hear stories of how entrepreneurs are transforming their communities already.
The secret is the training I got from Tony Elumelu Foundation, and I'm so grateful to them.
We took the money that we had from Tony Elumelu, and we did $1.6 million last year.
It's amazing. The hope that has been brought back to these young Africans, the can-do spirit. The future of Africa is in your hands.
Become a Tony Elumelu entrepreneur. Apply now.
Senate Committee on Finance cordially invites all ministers, managing directors, and heads of revenue-generating agencies of the federal government for a one-day interactive session on the need to improve the internally generated revenue of the federal government of Nigeria. Those invited include all heads of government-owned enterprises as listed. Furthermore, all heads of independent revenue-generating agencies of the federal government, like vice-chancellors of universities, rectors and provosts of federal polytechnics and colleges of education, respectively, medical directors of all federal teaching hospitals and federal medical centers, and heads of all parastatals and commissions of the federal ministries saddled with revenue generation for government are also invited. Date, Monday, 31st January 2022. Time, 11 a.m. prompt. Venue, Conference Hall, 231, Senate New Building, National Assembly Complex, Abuja. Chief host, Senator Ahmed Lawan, President of the Senate. Contact Clerk of the Committee for further clarification or inquiry. Host and announcer, Senator Solomon Adiola, Chairman, Senate Committee on Finance.
The Otaru of Auchi Sacred Kingdom, Alhaji H.A. Momo Ikelebe III, will on Saturday, January 29, 2022, confer the customary title of the Oduma of Auchi Sacred Kingdom on Prince Clem Ikenade Agba, Honorable Minister of State for Budget and National Planning. This is in acknowledgement of his exemplary performance in private and public service, which has impacted positively on the lives of people at all levels of society. The event will be attended by personalities from across the country. Venue, Palace of the Otaru of Auchi Sacred Kingdom, Auchi, Edo State. Date, Saturday 29th January 2022 at 10 a.m. prompt. Reception follows immediately at Ikanade Agba's country home in Uneme, Uzanu, Esako East Local Government Area of Edo State. Announcer, Confinement Planning Committee.
Thanks for staying with us. Just a quick reminder that you can follow this broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, YouTube channel, NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page, NTA Network News, Twitter at NTA News Now, and Instagram, NTA Network, for updates. Riding on its latest feat of clinching over 100% of its tax collection target for 2021, the Federal Inland Revenue Service is hoping to leverage on technology to improve the nation's revenue base, and it also solicits the support of taxpayers towards attaining set objectives. Benny Adams takes us through the performance of the service in the year 2021.
Economic challenges disrupting business activities since the year 2020. The Federal Inland Revenue Service says it achieved more than 100% of its collection target for the year 2021 by collecting 6.405 trillion naira, thereby surpassing the target of 6.401 trillion naira. Revenue from the non-oil sector amounted to 4.396 trillion naira as against 2.008 trillion generated from the oil sector. Revenues from petroleum profit tax and the value-added tax amounted to 4.07 trillion naira, while electronic money transfer levy and earmark taxes raked in 322.8 billion naira. The non-oil sector contributed 68.64% of the total collection in the year, while the oil sector contribution was 31.36% of total collection. The sum of 147.8 billion naira went as tax credit to private investors and NNPC for road infrastructure under the Infrastructure Development Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme, created by the Executive Order Number 007 of 2019. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
And for more on the FIRS quest and tax collection targets, I'm joined by the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mohammed Nami. Welcome to Network News.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Over 100% of your tax collection target for 2021. That must have taken quite some doing and a great deal of effort. So tell us at this point, how did this play out?
Thank you very much. We must first of all at FIRS give glory to God, and because He was there for us in times of need, in times of when we had challenges, particularly where we faced challenges with certain interests wanting to perform the functions that constitutionally was that of FIRS. We must also thank the taxpayers because they have chosen to voluntarily comply with the law of our land, and to appreciate stakeholders, particularly media organizations like NTA, the parastatals of government that we collaborated with to make sure that we generate data that we use for purpose of tax administration. What you have not, and to also put on record, is to appreciate the resilience of the staff, their cooperation, and their commitment to making sure that we are able to come this far for this country. What did we do to achieve this? While I was appointed in the year 2020, in 2019 December, and when I assumed office in January, we set for ourselves 4 cardinal goals. The first was to rebuild the institution of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and tax system in Nigeria. And what do? We carried out a lot of reforms, including policy and legal reforms, which today is playing out on an annual basis through the finance bill that we proposed to National Assembly through the Fiscal Policy Reform Committee set up by the federal government to annually review challenges, gaps, and leakages in the tax administration processes. We have done that, and we are seeing the result already. The second thing we have done is to focus on taxpayers themselves, because we set up ourselves to have a customer-centric organization, so that taxpayer education, taxpayer service was given a priority. The third step we took was to make FRS a data-centric organization. What we mean by that is that the only way we can administer tax is when we have access to taxpayers' data and record. So we give that a priority, and that is why we deploy our own in-house the technology called tax promise. The last thing we did, and which is very important for us to mention here, is that we have to deploy these technologies in such a manner that we're able to generate data as we need. We're able to exchange information with the local tax authorities and the international community.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, digitization played an obvious role here, but would you say, even as you've plugged those loopholes and leakages, would you say there are more opportunities to exploit within the tax system, like the personal and property tax, as examples?
There is a very good example, but I would differ a bit on that, because globally the best way of increasing or ramping up revenue for government when it comes to the activity of FRA is to concentrate on indirect taxes. Indirect taxes are taxes that are easy to administer, difficult to dodge, and you don't even know that you are paying, e.g. the value-added tax. These are taxes paid by consumers of goods and services. And then when it come back to the question you ask, yes, all over the world, the best way to mobilize revenue for particularly state based on our own constitution is personal income tax. There are people that are extremely rich. The one you look at the list of the richest men in Africa recently released, you realize that Nigerians were mentioned about 4 or 5 times in that list. And when it comes to payment of taxes in the whole world today, which seems to be at least second to the last when it comes to compliance of taxes. So the emphasis should be on personal income tax, because we have deficit in housing, we have a lot of housing challenges. So at this moment in our own history, we should not be emphasizing on property taxes, but the personal income tax.
Okay, but even then, as you would agree, most people will say that the big guys should pay more and the small guys less. If that's happening, it's one of the issue. But again, taxation is a core function. A core function of taxation is to allocate cost of government in a fair way. Can you now explain taxation from this angle, especially with regard to the question of encouraging or discouraging certain types of behavior by Nigerians?
Thank you. We have started that in the Finance Act of 2012, recently passed into law by Mr. President. The federal government has introduced excise duty on sugar that you consume, in order to discourage consumption of sugar, and in order for government to be able to raise revenue to support the health sector, so that when people are sick from consumption of these sugar-related drinks, you have money to take care of the health challenges that will come after consuming this product. Having said that, I think the key thing that we need to tell Nigerians is the importance of what we do, and which is that without the tax revenue that we collect at the center, Mr. Siri, there will not be salary at the states, that you come from.
Right.
There will not be salary from the local government that myself come from, not to talk of the salary at the center. I'm saying this because for the past 5 years, if you look at the report we just recently released, Federal Inland Revenue account for over 60% of the money that this local government, state and federal government share on monthly basis at FAC meetings.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'd like to thank you for coming. I know just as we wrap up, I believe congratulations would be in order. Nigeria is a member of the Commonwealth Association of Tax Administration, CATA, and recently you assumed the leadership role of that body.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations. Executive Chairman, FIRS, Mohammed Namit, thank you for coming on Network News.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Now, in other news, a Nigeria Police Force helicopter Bell 4295 NMDA flying from Abuja to Bauchi was involved in a controlled safe landing last night at the Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa International Airport, Bauchi. A statement by Force Public Relations Officer Frank Mba indicates that the aircraft did not crash, as been reported in some sections of the media, and none of the occupants sustained any injury. All 6 on board, including the pilot and co-pilot, are said to be in good shape. The aircraft, said to have been flown by one of the best police pilots, was professionally landed with a minor damage to the rear rotor as a result of obstacle at the landing spot. The incident occurred around 7:30 p.m. local time. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Ghali Baba, has commended the police air wing for their professionalism in safe landing the aircraft and averting any serious air mishap. The Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has revoked 33 out of the 161 licenses issued to awardees of the 2020 Marginal Oil Field bid exercise. Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Gbenga Komolafe, says the decision was taken due to the failure by the awardees to pay their signature bonuses. Mia Ugidi reports.
Marginal oil fields or smaller oil blocks exclusively licensed to indigenous companies to operate. A deliberate policy decision by the federal government to encourage local operators. 57 fields were off for bidding in 2020. 665 companies bidded. 161 were selected, raking in 174 billion naira to the federal government account.
So the PIA provides some legal governance.
New Petroleum Industry Act, new policies. Time to discuss the changes to rapidly eat the first oil. But some awardees will not see the first oil.
Basically, the marginal field bid round specified a time space, duration of 45 days for the payment of the signature bonus. And we actually observed that some of the awardees actually failed to make payment within this time space, and have 33 awards that were not paid for which they did not furnish consideration, and those awards have come back to the basket.
While the government takes such decisive measure, the awardees with clean bill of health also need some policy adjustment.
We were never consulted as to who we want to pair with in a feed. It was the Commission's discretion that people were put in feed, and therefore I see this as, okay, you brought partners together, it's like a forced marriage, and you are now saying that they must produce children. If there is no cooperation, how will that happen?
The awardees have been offered the award, and they accepted. They went ahead to furnish consideration, that is, they made payments. So in that respect, it means they've accepted the model that was used in the conduct of the exercise.
For the Upstream Commission, all administrative and operational issues must be addressed promptly for the companies to move to the fields. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
And staying with petroleum matters, fuel queues have persisted in Abuja, the nation's capital, despite assurances from relevant authorities for motorists to desist from panic buying as there is sufficient supply. Let's join Uyeyemi Ajayi, who observed the situation in some parts of the FCT.
The Gudu market
And the situation here is not in any way different to many other filling stations in the FCT. Queues piled up in order for motorists to get their fuel, moving around to different places, different locations. We got to today, some of the filling stations could be seen not dispensing fuel. Brian Mohammed is the manager at the NNPC station at Kudu. He says part of the reasons for the queues experienced is due to the inconsistent supply of fuel, which has caused some filling stations not to have.
The more they supply us, that's how we sell it. Understand? Sometimes we get delay from the supply. That is from depot. You understand? Eh? So when they supply us, we are going to sell it. And when you see the queue there, the fuel is being supplied regularly. All this queue will not be there.
Some of the motorists spoken with said there is a relief in accessing fuel when compared to the previous day when it was tough to get to their turns.
As of today, it's much easier than yesterday.
How was it yesterday?
Yesterday it was so hectic. If you come to filling station, we cannot even get fuel.
Well, it's not really easy. To some other filling stations, they are keeping their fuel.
Still wonder why there's scarcity in the town. But outside the Abuja, there's no scarcity.
It was noticed that the pump price at the filling stations visited remained between 162 and 165 naira per litre. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Borno State government has flagged off the multi-billion naira dualization of Maiduguri township roads and drains. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum flagged off the project at the popular post office roundabout in the state capital. Mohammed Guni reports.
The roads affected by the road dualization and drainage construction include Post Office to Gwange Cemetery, Bolori to Lagos Street, as well as El Kanimi Road, while 2 additional bridges are to be constructed at El Kanimi and Gwange bridges, adding that all dualized roads will be adorned with street lights. The project, which is built to be completed in 1 year, is expected to cost 11 billion naira. Governor Babagana Omar Azlim said the project is in fulfillment of pledges made to electorate, assuring citizens of more developmental projects.
Valuation certificates have been duly signed by the communities. For any payment, such certificates have to be forwarded to the company. I have to cite all those certificates.
The governor, who also drove through all the roads and bridges as well as the motor park rehabilitated to accommodate traders affected by evacuation, also urged the people to be patient as the project is meant to develop the state capital. He assured those that might be affected by demolition that they will be fully compensated and 2 additional markets will be constructed to decongest Monday market. The governor also inaugurated 9.2-kilometer township road linking Bolori 2 to Bulabulin Garanam, where he charged the permanent secretary, Ministry of Works, Engineer Lawan Aligoni, to work closely with the consultants as the state government prioritizes integrity in all its projects. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Time to link up with Michael in Lagos for more reports. Michael?
Thank you, Cyril. Motorists along Ikorodu Road and Lagos-Ibadan Expressway now have high hopes of better motoring experience after Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu flagged off the Okpebi-Ojota Link Bridge project, which has been conceived more than 20 years ago. Musa Tolia reports.
Increasing commercial activities along Okpebi in Ikeja Central Business District attracts high density of vehicular movement, which in turn triggers incessant traffic gridlock in the axis. Though conceived more than 20 years ago, the plan to channel traffic through a link bridge from Okpebi to Ojota is a conscious and deliberate move by the Lagos State government to address the perennial traffic and improve ease of doing business on the mainland.
The available road infrastructure that links these axes are also limited in its connectivity and options. Thus, during peak hours, high traffic volume within this axis usually congests into Ikeja traffic gridlock. And we're doing this with sectional overlay, ensuring that we can indeed bring about extensive patching.
The 3.89-kilometer bridge is expected to start from Okpebi U-turn and span all the way to Odo-Yala Road Bridge and adjoining roads in Ojota New Garage along Ikorodu Road.
The design concept for this project has been holistically and collaboratively done between the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure and the Ministry of Transport, so as to provide not only an infrastructure solution, but also a transport solution that ensures value and relief for the motoring public.
As Oliver Twist, we wish to remind you of your promise to expand Bega Omole Road.
Okwebi Ojota Link Bridge, described as a legacy project, is expected to be completed in 20 months. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Now to nature conservation. Pangolin is facing threats of extinction, according to the International Union of Conservation of Nature, IUCN. In spite of this, however, the creature is still the world's most trafficked mammal. Environment correspondent Jennifer Igwe has details on how conservationists in Lagos are rehabilitating and tracking rescued pangolins returned to their natural habitats.
Pangolin is the only scaly mammal that feeds on insects. The scales, which protect the creature from external attacks, are rich with keratin. It is the main reason why pangolin is the world's most trafficked mammal. The scales are used for traditional medicine in Asia, for instance, and command millions of dollars in illegal wildlife trade. Conservationists in Lagos have intensified efforts to save the endangered species. This pangolin sanctuary, covering half a hectare of land at the Lagos Urban Forestry Initiative, Lufasi Park, is aimed at rehabilitating rescued pangolins and releasing them back to their natural habitat.
Some of them have been caged for a long time, so they need to be in a place where they will be okay. This is the only pangolin sanctuary in the whole of West Africa.
Tracking devices and cameras are also used to monitor the well-being of the released pangolins.
The ground pangolin they have in Southern Africa, they can move up to 14 kilometers in one night. Picture that, the distance of 14 kilometers in one night. But the ones we have here, the white-bellied pangolin, we do not know their range, for example. But data from this tracking would let us know that, oh, they don't move on the ground much. They go up trees, they stay in an area and all that.
Tracking released pangolins is not an easy task. I can tell as we followed signals from the tracking device and images from the cameras. The initiative and sanctuary, however, are pertinent signals to the world that in addition to security agencies intensifying efforts to ensure Nigeria is no longer a route for illegal trade in wildlife, conservationists are helping to keep them safe in their natural habitat. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
You're still watching the network news on NTA. Remember, you can also follow this news live online on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now, on Facebook Network News, and on our YouTube channel, NTA Live. Let's take a short break. The news continues shortly. Please stay.
This isn't a fight, alright? It's more like a battle. So you gotta come through from the jump. Show them you have too much heart to get bypassed. Because you and I both know, nobody's playing in these streets. See, if you hold back, you lose. If you get cold feet, you freeze. That leaves only one way to go, really. And that's hard. So show up, show out, show yourself, battle for your dream. Only the best will make it at the Global Battle of the Year Nigeria. Don't miss the search for Nigeria's most creative dance talents.
Every Harmattan, he falls sick so frequently and misses school often. I keep him away from junk food.
She also feeds me apple. She says an apple a day keeps...
If you want to keep germs away, then use Dettol soap regularly. Germs and disease spread easily during Harmattan. For this, use Dettol soap. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
At the heart of your waking up and going out is your desire to succeed. This keeps you awake, running through your mind, even when bathing. At Bedmate, we understand and remain your partners in providing you durable furniture that helps you work better and introduces you as a person of good taste. That's why from 13 January to 20 February 2022, you can own items in a Sophia Office series at incredible discounts of 20% off with amazing gifts too. Hurry now to our showrooms to enjoy this limited offer like many others needing high-performance work tools to success.
See, nurse, she's saying she feels unwell despite my efforts to practice good hygiene.
Mom says wash your hands to keep the germs away.
Washing hands is good, but surfaces can also have germs, and you shouldn't use just anything for cleaning them. Use Jik. Jik's formula has been scientifically proven to stay active for longer, giving you whitening and germ kill protection on a variety of surfaces. Disinfect to protect, just Jik it. Endorsed by National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives.
There's a drop of goodness in everyone. Share goodness with someone today. Malta Guinness. Enjoy a world of good.
Are you aware that your perfect family may be under threat by germs? Germs can cause infectious disease. These infectious diseases are amongst the biggest killers of adults and children. Illness-causing germs are everywhere. In unclean bathing water, clothes, dirty surfaces, on cuts and wounds. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 capful. In your bathing water, for your laundry, for surface cleaning, for first aid, and to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
Femi Martins, just look at this. Remember the name. That is a wonderful goal.
The African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA. Powered by AfroSports. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
Not all washing powders are the same. Sunlight adds bursts of freshness to cleaning power to give you Sunlight 2-in-1 for sensational cleaning and freshness that lasts. Sunlight 2-in-1 sensational cleaning with burst after burst of freshness. Introducing Sunlight with luxurious oud fragrance.
Business news with Benny Adams. Benny?
Thank you, Cyril, and welcome to Business. We start by telling you that following the review and issuance of compliance certificates of the full business case by the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, the Federal Executive Council has given approval for the Revenue Assurance Solution Project through Design, Finance, Build, Operate, and Transfer Public-Private Partnership Model. The RAS, designed by the Nigerian Telecommunications, the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, seeks to improve the collation and collection of annual operating levy from network operators, with the approval by FEC and requisite vetting by the Federal Ministry of Justice. The next stage will be the commercial close contract execution. The RAS, which is to span a 10-year period, is expected to increase the revenue accruals to the tune of more than 1 trillion naira. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, on Thursday urged manufacturers to reduce the price of building materials in the country to make housing more affordable, just as he assured them of the Apex Bank's continued support. Emefiele made the plea at the inauguration of BUA's 3 million metric tons cement plant, which was performed by President Muhammadu Buhari in Sokoto. He said available data show the production capacity of cement companies in Nigeria have witnessed 100% growth from 2014 to 2021. The governor therefore assured operators in the sector of CBN's support towards a viable manufacturing sector, while encouraging focus on satisfying the domestic infrastructure needs to help reduce the prices of cement and steel. And on the capital market, investors lost 280.62 billion naira as all share index dipped by minus 1.12% to close equities market at 46,009.23 basis points, as against 1.29% appreciation recorded previously. 279.4 million shares valued at 2.7 billion naira were traded in 4,582 deals. Equity capitalization depreciated to 24.7 trillion naira. Guineans led the 26 gainers as against 17 losers, topped by NEM at the end of today's session. On the activity chart, Upgrade topped in terms of volume with 46.3 million shares and was followed by Cotville and Transcap. MTN and Guarantee topped the market valueless. That is business news, but network news continue with Obehi in Benin. It's over to you.
Thanks, Benny, for joining us in Benin. Achieving food sufficiency is one of the major criteria for measuring the rate of development of any economy. Experts in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and other relevant agencies are pushing for the utilization of orange flesh sweet potato to achieve food sufficiency. Yours truly reports that some farmers in Benin have been introduced to the benefits of the vitamin A-rich crop. The orange-fleshed sweet potato variety is not so common, especially in this part of the country. Apart from its health benefits, experts say its agronomics process are relatively easy and can guarantee as much as 6 tons per hectare under 90 days of cultivation.
The ministry has started intensifying our effort to make sure that we popularize it across the country. Why is it this potato? It's simply because of its richness in vitamin A.
The Director, Federal Department of Agriculture, Gaba Abubakar, through his representative, is encouraging these 40 tuber farmers to spread the development potentials from the crop to other farmers in their communities.
And we, our extension officers, tend to follow up to find out on a later date how they have been able to carry that out.
Resource persons from Agricultural and Rural Management Training Institute show the farmers practical process of making some byproducts of the orange-fleshed sweet potato.
For me, I'm seeing this kind of potato for the first time. So I'm impressed with the training.
By the time we get back to wherever we came from, of course, we'll be able to do something. And that's going to create jobs for people who are unemployed.
Edo State is the 7th to benefit from this Train the Trainer program of the federal government. The police in Edo State have paraded 3 criminal suspects between the ages of 22 and 24. The suspects told Iviu Yakiri their level of involvement in the crimes.
For the first suspect, it all began when his mother passed and he urgently needed funds for her burial. He said he had no hope. Hence, he chose crime. He has successfully done this for a while until he was apprehended by members of the public who then handed him over to the police.
If we see bag inside motor or phone, the man go pull the master key, open and tell me I go bring the bag. So I will go bring her. If I go bring her waka, if you say we don't succeed, you go come cross road, you can't carry the bag from my hand.
If they try to confuse me, this my guy, I'm going to try to collect waiting day with you.
If I enter motor, I can sit down near you. When I sit down near you, I'll shook out for your pockets. If I don't shook out for your pocket, I'll carry your sting. I know.
The police public relations officer Kotongs Bello is happy with the rate at which members of the public are involving in community policing.
Police cannot succeed without the cooperation from the general public. These are the kind of cooperation we want because we are all working for the betterment of Edo State.
With the alarming rate of pickpockets in commercial vehicles as well as public places, members of the public are being advised to guard their valuables jealously. In Benin, Ivie Oyahiri, NTA News.
The news continues with Cyril in Abuja after this break.
Big as the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, you can't afford to miss out. So where do you go when you want to have a full AFCON 2021 experience? You go where everybody goes. When you're looking for the vibe, you go straight to the source. So if you want to have it all, go all out for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations with GoTV. Catch all 52 must-watch games live on SuperSport on GoTV. GoTV, love it.
Right to the ongoing AFCON from 24 to 8. That's what's left of teams still vying for the ultimate prize at the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon. Let's now join Daniel Aderier for a rundown.
The African Cup of Nations has so far been trimmed down from 24 to 8 nations, all vying for a semi-final ticket. But if upset was a person, or in this case a team of 11, teams like Equatorial Guinea and the Gambia would be a perfect fit. The Super Eagles may have crashed out, but it doesn't stop the action, thrills and frills of the AFCON tournament from going on. Now, it might be safe to say that teams were a lot more laid back, as the amount of goals recorded in the round of 16 were a little below expectation, with most matches ending with lone goal victories or barren draws, and then eventually settled via penalty shootout. But also notable among the narrative in the round of 16 was what many termed poor officiating on the part of some match officials who were overzealous in dishing out red cards. But even while the quarter-final was still taking shape, a dark shadow was cast over the city of Olimbe in the nation's capital during the round of 16 fixture with Comoros, when a stampede at the Olimbe Stadium resulted in the death of 8 and injured 38 others. CAF in a statement said it is currently investigating the situation and trying to get more details on what transpired. As a result, Sunday's Africa Cup of Nations quarter-final at Olimbe Stadium has been moved to the Amadou Haijo Stadium.
And that wraps it up on NTA Network News, but certainly not the fight against rape and rapists. It is ongoing. Join the NTA. I'm Cyril Stover. Good night.